Okay.
I'm Jim Jordan. I teach English at Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep in San Francisco.
And I'm Dan O'Rourke, a teacher in Chicago. I've been teaching the AP English language class for quite a while. The last 16 years, I've been at Riverside Brookfield High School, which is in Chicago's western suburbs. I met Jim here, I'd say 12 years ago at AP Reading in Daytona. And we became fast friends, close colleagues, and we've helped each other become better teachers over the years. Our work together has included several road trips across the country where we shared ideas about using the content of the English language classroom to promote reading and writing across the high school curriculum.
And one of the cool things about working together for us is that, well, I teach AP language and composition too, but I teach at a Catholic school in downtown San Francisco. Dan teaches in a public school outside of Chicago. So, I mean, high school students are high school students, but our student populations are quite different. So some of the ideas that we like to kick around are well intended to serve any student population. And so we're going to try to show you a little bit of how we do that. So it'd be nice working with you today, Dan. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Jim.
How's the weather in Chicago?
It's hot.
Is it? It's never hot in San Francisco. All right, onward we go. So we are going to discuss with you today one of our favorite concepts, which is writing for transfer. Writing opportunities for our students that prepare them for multiple disciplines.
Good. So I think an important starting point becoming a more effective writing teacher is gaining an awareness that an exam answer is different from a real world piece of writing that is the result of a genuine writing opportunity. Without this awareness, our efforts to help our students grow as writers can sometimes inhibit them. And if you look here at this quote by Jennifer Fletcher, who I had the pleasure of working with for a short while for College Board's instructional design team, she warns us here. She says, because teenagers largely write in rhetorical situations superficially characterized by fixed due dates, predetermined rubrics, and teacher-assigned grades, they can have difficulty imagining less predictable conditions. So if you think about that quote, this is not to say that coaching students to write stronger exam answers within the confines of academic writing instruction is misguided. In fact, sharpening students' skills with writing exam answers can and will transfer over to their skills at writing real-world arguments as long as they're aware that there is a difference between these two things.
Very good. Another one of our favorite college rhetoric professors is John Warner. This is a terrific book of his that offers what he calls writing problems, and it's just filled with ways to do exactly what Jennifer Fletcher is talking about. Warner says writing as thinking is not confined to a single subject, and that's where we think rhetoric courses can be very helpful. As teachers, we just want to consider the kind of thinking we want our students to practice in different disciplines and then design experiences around them. And for me, what that usually means is setting things up so that the audience is not always me, the teacher. So how do you do it? Well, this idea of writing for transfer requires really two things. We've got to help our students learn how to read like a writer. And then when it's time for them to write their own essays, we want them to make audience-focused rhetorical choices. And again, we've got to set it up so that the audience isn't always ourselves.
Good. So that's the trick. So one great tool, one especially useful tool for teaching rhetoric is the Aristotle's rhetorical triangle. Not only does it help illustrate that effective writing decisions involve careful consideration of audience and context on the writer's part, but it also helps from an analysis point of view, understanding that reading an argument involves being an objective observer, not part of the audience, but detached from the audience. And that's just a critical idea.
So rhetorical reading means you want to take a bird's eye view, detach yourself from being the audience and read beyond meaning. So you're not just interpreting the text as the audience, you're going above and actually assessing the relationship between these three elements.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Cool. That would work in any discipline.
Any discipline.
Speaking of which, we have a lot of people are aware by now that the College Board recently put out course and exam descriptions for every single AP course. What you're looking at is a broad range, and we're going to take a walk through some of these. We're going to use as a starting point the College Board's rhetoric course, AP Language and Composition. But in the course and exam descriptions for every single subject, there are articulated skills and then even exam tasks. So we're going to take a look at how rhetoric recurs throughout the curriculum, going through 5 different disciplines over the next few minutes. You ready, Dan?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Let's start with our own course page, AP
Right.
Language and Composition. Go ahead.
Right. I think the best place to start is in the course framework that was articulated for AP English Language and Composition, our rhetoric course. And if you can see across the top there, there's 4 big ideas: rhetorical situation, claims and evidence, reasoning and organization, and style. And underneath each one of those big ideas is an enduring understanding that we want our students to come away with. So the first one is individuals write within a particular situation and make strategic writing choices based on that situation. And you could look at the others, but I want you to notice that underneath each enduring understanding and big idea are skills that are specific skills that are articulated in reading and writing that I'd like Jim to talk about.
Yeah, so we're going to come back to that idea you just mentioned, Dan, that the particular situation and the strategic writing choices, that very much echoes what John Warner and Jennifer Fletcher were talking about. And then as you look at these larger 4 ideas, you'll notice that the skill categories are divided across the page in reading and writing. So the 22 distinct skills in AP's rhetoric course, Lang Comp, are organized in these 2 categories. The odds are always going to be reading and the evens are always going to be writing. Why does that matter?
Well, because reading and writing, analysis and argument, right? Analysis really is reading. When we're talking about a text, that is not really that much different than when we're talking about reading a room, analyzing a room, analyzing a defense, reading the defense. So analysis and reading are two sides of the same coin.
And argument is this course's way of defining writing. So while an argument could certainly take the form of a speech, the universal academic definition is articulating a position supported by a line of reasoning. These are the most concise definitions we could find. But in most university and most college classrooms, analysis equals reading and argument equals writing. So this is true in rhetoric courses too. And this is why the skills recur in this pattern: reading first, writing second. So let's take our walk through the curriculum, and we'll start with one of the art courses, AP Art History. And you'll notice right across the top of the skills page, these look similar to the AP English one. They're called Historical Thinking Skills in Art History because it's also an historical course. But you'll see analysis across the top in skills 1 and 2, visual and contextual analysis. And then as you get to skill 8, you see argumentation. And if you look a little more closely at that one, you can see that's top to bottom here. Skill 8A, articulated defensible claim about one or more works. 8B, using specific and relevant evidence, support a claim. 8C, explain how the evidence justifies the claim. This is language that could have come right off of the AP Lang skills page. This is rhetoric. And then on the exam, we see the task verbs on the left in blue, and we're going to follow this pattern through a few more courses as we go here. The task verbs, this is what students need to be able to do on the essays. They call those free response questions. These are essay prompts. Explain, justify attribution. Those are rhetorical concepts, and there are others within the fine print there, but the bigger ideas are where we'll stay for now. And then one of the essay tasks requires students to write an analysis, which again, it requires them to articulate their ability to read the visual and contextual features of a work of art. So this is an analytical task. It's rhetoric.
And so excellent. The course framework, you're going to see our own course framework in AP English Language and Composition. You're going to see echoed throughout these different CEDs. Here's the CED articulation for science practices. And if you look across the top, I have a couple things circled there. Text analysis is what they call practice 3. We'd call skill 3. Text analysis is that reading skill that we're trying to promote. Also, data analysis in practice 5 is, again, an echo of what we teach in the AP language classroom. If you look over at practice 3 in more detail, you can see 3A, identify an author's claim. 3B, describe the author's perspective and assumptions. 3C, describe the author's reasoning. 3D, evaluate the credibility of a source. And 3E, even evaluate the validity of conclusions. All of these echo our own course framework in our rhetoric class.
I'm thinking about the rhetorical triangle again, Dan. That applies here, especially in the B and C. Describe the author's perspective and assumptions. Describe the reasoning. That's the speaker, or the in our class it'd be the writer, but in environmental science they say author. Very good. Let's look at the exam.
Yeah, and so if you look at the exam page, we'll look at the exam. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at the task verbs first. Explain, justify, make a claim, propose a solution. And if we look at the exam free response questions, two of the three there. The question number 2, analyze an environmental problem and propose a solution. So that is rhetoric.
Didn't you get a chance to do this, Dan, with one of your colleagues recently? Did you pair up with an environmental science teacher?
I did, and I'm just going to say, for free response question number 3, it's the same. It's the same thing. Analyze an environmental problem and propose a solution. So for 3 years, I teamed with an APES teacher at my school. I teamed the AP language class, and we saw a great deal of growth and success on the exams, not only in the APES exam, but also in the AP language exam. In AP language, they had more genuine opportunities to write about something they had deeper knowledge of, environmental science. And in the APES class, they were able to attack these rhetorical questions with more expertise because of the skills that I was teaching in the AP language class.
And how did that work out for them on the exams that year?
They, a lot of where we had to keep all kinds of statistics because we were trying to propose this as a core, as an official course at our school, and the statistics showed a great deal of growth
in both subjects.
Both subjects, yep.
Very both. Cool. That's excellent. Right on. All right, so let's move now to a math course. This is AP Stats. Again, right across the top, we quickly notice the same pattern: analysis and argumentation. So even in math, rhetoric matters if students are going to do well on the AP exam, which yields college credit. Oftentimes anyway. So let's look closely at the argumentation skills. Make an appropriate claim or draw an appropriate conclusion. We know where that comes from. And interpret statistical calculations and findings to assess meaning or assess a claim. That's a major concept in rhetoric courses as well. And on the exam, we see task verbs again. Now you know the pattern here. Explain, this is all on the left. Give examples, justify, even interpret and verify could probably be rhetorical ideas. And then on the test itself, they've got analysis and argumentation in both the multiple choice section and the essay section, which is definitely a hallmark of AP Lang.
Right. You know, it's funny, Jim, if you don't mind me interrupting here. Sure enough, yesterday, I was in the copy room with our AP stats teacher, and he was telling me that our kids here at my school do well on the free response questions for stats. But where they struggle is the data analysis. They're able to see what data is, but they struggle seeing the relevance sometimes of which data supports which claim, in other words. So a rhetoric class, teaming our rhetoric class with the stats class would be ideal in helping kids grow and develop this skill more sharply.
And you say they struggle with the data analysis on the multiple choice, Dan?
On the multiple choice, yes. That's where he really noticed it.
So what you're saying is a student who has actually a strong grip on statistics would still need rhetoric in order to do well on the exam.
Exactly right. Yes.
Definitely an opportunity.
The line of reasoning. They need to understand the line of reasoning.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move back to history, or into history.
Okay, great. So history, I think, is more maybe traditional at teaming. You've heard that I teamed the APES class with language, but many schools, I think, team AP language with, let's say, AP US history. But not just US, all the history classes can work well with the rhetoric class. So these rhetorical skills that we teach in our language class can help students achieve achieve their potential more readily with their understanding of rhetoric. If you look across the top here, claims and evidence and sources, that again echoes our own course framework. You see argumentation. If we look more closely at argumentation, it says is that five? That's six. 6A, make a historically defensible claim. How about 6B? Support an argument using specific and relevant evidence. Here we go again. 6C, use historical reasoning to explain relationships. 6D, corroborate, qualify, or modify an argument using diverse and alternative evidence. So you can see how the rhetoric class can help kids score more, do better in their AP history classes.
And let's take a look at the exam too, Dan.
Yeah, good. Okay, so the task verbs again, maybe this is starting to sound a little bit repetitive, but develop an argument, draw a conclusion, and explain, even identify, are all rhetorical skills. And then in the free response question on the exam itself, check this out. Bullet points, articulate a defensible claim. Next one, provide evidence from one of the foundational documents. Next one, provide evidence from a second foundational document to support the claim, right? And then use reasoning to explain why the evidence supports the claim and respond to an opposing or alternative perspective using refutation, concession, or rebuttal. That's lingo right off of our own course framework.
And most of the history courses do have one of these document-based questions now, which absolutely assess rhetorical skill as much as historical knowledge. So that's a good find, Dan. Thank you. All right, we've now looked at math, science, art, history, and let's take a look at world languages. We see in the AP Latin course, we chose this one for fun, but in all of the world languages, they now assess more than just your ability to translate between English and the other language, but critical thinking. So rhetoric plays a role here too. Again, we see the pattern, we know it now: analysis, argumentation. There it is right across the top. And the deep dive shows you that they need to be able to, in argumentation, articulate a defensible claim or thesis, support the argument using relevant evidence, use accurate, specific, and relevant references, and use reasoning to draw conclusions. Even that last one, using contextual knowledge, is a skill that students would learn in a rhetoric course. And on the exam itself, they have to analyze. We're looking at the task verbs again. They have to write. Of course, we do a lot of writing in all English classes. And then they have an analytical essay, among other essay tasks, in which, look at the bullets again: articulate a defensible claim, articulate the effects of language usage, support the argument using relevant evidence, and on it goes. So as we see all throughout the curriculum, rhetoric plays a role in a student's success in both reading and writing. And when we talk about writing for transfer, we want to conclude this video by bringing you all the way back to where we started. Dan?
Good. So, it's about analysis and argument. It's about reading and writing. And so, and helping our students understand that individuals write within a particular situation and make strategic writing choices based on that situation, not only in academic writing, but in all stages of their life.
That's enduring understanding, big idea number 1 in the AP Rhetoric course, Language and Composition. So we want to conclude by encouraging any teacher who assigns writing to set your students up for this ability to transfer by giving them multiple opportunities to practice both analytical, reading and writing, and argumentative writing. Analysis, argument, those are the keys. And the language you can find on page 19 of the AP Lang CED, which, by the way, is available on AP Central as a downloadable document. The skills and the descriptions of language like this you see right here in front of you, you can pull right from that document and use it to design your assessment as well.
Great. So thank you. I hope you found this useful, and it can help you in your own instruction.
And Dan, listen, it was great chatting with you.
Great talking to you, Jim.
Look forward to seeing you again soon. And thank you all. Good luck to all of you in your classes this year. And thanks for watching.